I was with these two girls the first time I seen my wife, Mr. Iscariot. He was at a party at Jimmy Rayburn's house. Jimmy's mama, she worked till midnight, so he had the place to himself, and me and these two girls, Susie Heller and Della Mae Robbins, we were, smoking a cigarette and talking on Mrs. Rayburn's deck, away from the party. I was depressed about something. Probably the school was over. And I had been in the school play. I played the part of Tom in the Glass Menagerie. I had never acted before, but everybody said I was real good. But now, the play was over. School was over. So. Oh, and before the play, they had given me this real short haircut, 1940s style. I don't know if you noticed my ears, Mr. Scared. They stick out a little bit, so, with the haircut and all, I was feeling a little self-conscious and dumb and, well, just not too cheery. Anyways, I'm out there talking to Della and Susie. All of a sudden, I see this girl inside of the party. She must have just arrived. She had on this red jacket. It was a cheerleading jacket from high school, just across the state line in Virginia. The Red Raiders. Yeah, no, that's all I saw was the blonde hair and this red jacket. Boy, her smile, that even from a distance was electrifying to the heart, About a minute later, the sliding door opened, and this girl, she comes out by herself onto the deck. And it turns out that, she's a friend of Della's from back in the day, from the Girl Scouts or Brownies or something like that, and she's coming over. And she was so beautiful. I remember thinking to myself, and this is exactly, word for word, what I thought. I ain't even gonna bother talking to this girl. She comes over, say hello, and then I stand up, excuse myself off the date, go back inside of the party, fixing to say my goodbyes, and skedaddle. Anyways, I tried to leave. But then Jimmy hands me a beer, and somebody starts passing a bottle of Rebel Yell, and what with the bong hits and whatnot. A little later, I'm sitting on a couch when this girl, my future wife, she comes over by herself and she says to me, I saw you in that play the other night. You made me cry. 2 days later, we went on a date. And on the way back, I was driving home, and we passed by the house where a friend of mine, Dave Hogue, used to live, who had died. I hadn't been by the house since he passed, his family didn't live there no more. So. But when I saw the house, I was struck, this feeling. And I asked her if she wouldn't mind if we pulled over and sat in front of the house for a moment. She said, sure. We parked, and we sat in the car for a while. It was quiet, not saying nothing. Before I knew it, Mr. Scared, I was tearing up. Because this guy had been a really good friend of mine. And then I started crying, Mr. Scared. I couldn't help it. And I couldn't turn it off. I was real embarrassed. And she just held me while tears and snot poured out of me onto a pretty white sweater. And she didn't mind about that. She didn't mind at all. At some point, I drove her home, and we got to her front door, and we started to kiss. And I'll tell you, it was like peaches and dynamite. Before I left her, I apologized for the crying and all, and she said, "Butch Honeywell, don't be a jackass." And I smiled. And then I went on to explain my meaning, which was, If you want a girl to think that you're sensitive or something, no, maybe driving by the house of your dead friend and crying all over a white sweater, that might be a way to pull it off. You know what she said to me, Mr. Iscariot? She looked at me for a good long while, with all the way dazzling eyes of hers, and she said, well, if it was a trick, then I'm tricked. 3 years into our marriage, I took a job teaching at the state college. You know, I was popular with the students because I found a way to make them want to learn. And one night at the end of the semester, they took me out for beers. And I ended up having an assignation with one of the co-eds, a young lady named Lucy. And I went home and I got into bed, next to my wife, drunk as a skunk. And I remember before I passed out, I was looking at her. Because I always liked to look at her when she was sleeping. She always looked so good. I had a little nickname for her. I used to call her my little baby dinosaur, because that's what she looked like when she was sleeping. One of them cute little cartoon dinosaurs. Little baby brontosaurus, only cute. Anyways, when I woke up the next morning, she was still sleeping. What I had done the night before came back to me. I looked over at my wife and boy, she looked the same. Somehow she just wasn't my little baby dinosaur no more, you know. And she woke up and she didn't know nothing about nothing, and everything was exactly the same as if the night before it never happened. But it wasn't the same, and I knew it. And I had no idea why I had done what I had done, and it couldn't be changed. And my girl, she got up and she made blueberry French toast, maple walnut pecans, and I didn't eat it. There's no way I could have eaten it. Nothing was ever the same after that morning, Mr. Iscariot, you know. And I tried a lot of things to make it better, and the only thing that ever did was more beer and women. Do you know who W.H. Auden was, Mr. Iscariot? Well, W.H. Auden was a poet who once said, God may reduce you on Judgment Day to tears of shame, reciting by heart the poems that you should have written had your life been good. She was my poem, Mr. Iscariot. Her and the kids, but mostly her. Cast in silver, Mr. Iscariot.